Hi, and welcome back. Are you wondering about how you can parlay your expertise into something like thought leadership or an online program or any like social media growth, influencing? If so, you've come to the right place, and let's unpack that. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that works, and some of my perspective today might be a little bit counterintuitive. And the first piece is that you want to actually remove as much noise as possible and get as specific as possible. So for example, if your expertise is anxiety, hone in on what exactly does that mean? Anxiety for who? Anxiety in what circumstances? Anxiety for what duration? So for example, anxiety for parents whose children are graduating college and they're experiencing the tail end of empty nest syndrome for the first time, versus anxiety for people in their early 20s who are preparing to graduate from college, who are thinking about what do they want to do with their life, what is their identity. Super different things. So the first thing is get as specific as you can. Then start thinking about where might those people be hanging out? What might they be searching? So embody, if you were that person, literally what would they be typing into Google to feel better? If it's the person in their early 20s, they might search, does CBD help with existential anxiety about career? They might search, what should I do with my life? If you're experiencing your children graduating from college, you might be searching relatively similarly, what should I do with the rest of my life when my children graduate college? How do I reignite romance with my partner? Should I sell my house and be a nomad and travel in retirement? And just really embody, and some of how you might generate this is by thinking about, of the people who you've had the most success with or who are the most nested in your expertise, what things have they said to you in your initial call, in your first couple of sessions, as they prepared to graduate from their work with you? What stands out as things that are some of these one-liners or takeaways? What are some of the problem statements that they have of what draws them to work with you? And what are some of the success statements of, now that they have worked with you, they're feeling ABC way, or their thinking has shifted ABC way? So once you start to identify where those people likely are, that's how you can start to choose your platform of choice if it's thought leadership. So there's a difference between Facebook and Instagram, even if they're owned by the same place. There's a difference between Google Ads and blog posting. One paid, one organic, different lengths of time in their effectiveness. There's also a difference in, if it's press and thought leadership that you want, what types of publications you'd be going after, whether it's Teen Vogue or Cosmo, or whether it's Psychology Today, or whether it's Business Insider. So you want to really start to think about, where are the people who you want to be learning of you and reading about you hanging out? What are they reading? What are they eating? And how can you start to bridge partnerships to be in front of those folks? And then, of course, you can also start to design your calendar and your time management to best suit for the execution of some of your thought leadership. So I know for me, things like time blocking are really helpful. So if I want to write about a given amount of topics, it's incredibly unlikely that I'll write a full piece in between client sessions. What's more likely for me specifically is that I might have a whole day of working with clients, a whole day or multiple days of working on my well-being, and then I might have multiple hour chunks in a given day or on the weekend if I choose to do that, that are for writing, that are for thought leadership, or that are for more creative and more heads down work. That for me is very helpful. You might actually really love or find the adrenaline of context switching more helpful. Then you want to start to think about who can be your partners in helping to share this information. So to some extent, you want to find out what it is you're writing about or producing on, what topics, for whom, where are they, how can you find them, how can you produce that content, so organizing your own time and calendar, and then how do you get it out there? Who are the journalists that you can try to get an intro to? Who are the colleagues who might share that? So for example, maybe it's people at who are planning college graduation ceremonies who want to share some of this content with the parents of the students who are graduating. Or maybe it's colleagues of yours who share a similar expertise but are not necessarily doing writing or not necessarily launching groups or online programs, who might benefit from providing access to that to their clients or their caseload or their network, and yet they're not interested in producing it. So it's not competitive, it's collaborative. So in the interest of time, take this with a grain of salt. You can watch, visit, and revisit this tape as many times as you want. This is a process. What I just said can take weeks or months or years to develop. So if nothing else, practice kindness and patience and compassion with yourself. Start to envision, where do you want to be in 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years? How can you break that down into what are realistic goals for you that you're confident you can accomplish in given periods of time? And how can you start programming those into your calendar or working with your own coach, therapist, or peer group to hold yourself accountable to some of those goals? And how can you celebrate the wins, however small, and practice patience with yourself? If you miss a deadline, it's okay. Try to add in cushions for maybe you can pick up the next week. And notice that cumulatively over time, you'll start to gain traction, you'll start to gain support, you'll start to see movement, but this is a very long-term process. So I hope that this is helpful for you today. As always, if there's something that's been really helpful for you in your own course development or thought leadership, share in the comments below or let us know by email. Tag or share this with someone who you think would really benefit from this video today. And as always, let us know if any questions arise for you. We're here, we're happy to help, and we would love to speak directly to your questions so they can all be answered. We look forward to keeping in touch, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.